It's August 21st, and I haven't done any kind of garden journal or garden tour since June, the middle of June. We were gone for a week in July, and truthfully, there just wasn't a whole lot of changes through the month of July. So today we're just going to go through what I'm going to call our horseshoe garden here, which is really just one long border in a horseshoe shape. Over there on the left, we have a red cedar, which really isn't a cedar, I'm told. It's actually a juniper. And then we have a hedge of Nellie Stevens holly growing along the side there. It's a natural privacy fence. Over to the right is our kitchen garden, but like I said, we're not going to go look in there today. I'm going to try to focus on the positive, and there's a lot of negative going on over there. I planted some annuals in this little spot here. It's kind of a little open, narrow path. I had started some mealy cup sage from seed, and it's doing really well. We have a crow with us today. And that is evening scented primrose. It's a biennial. So if I'm correct in understanding how a biennial works, we should get flowers from those next week. I think it's an evening scented primrose, and it only blooms in the evening. And over there we have some bronze fennel. Everything's pretty much green. I have yet to perfect getting something blooming at all times of the year, but we do have some nice texture. We have the daylilies here and that Baptisia foliage. Over there are rock castle asters. Those are natives, and they're just starting to bloom. Pollinators love them, and from what I understand, they're fairly unusual and specific to this area. But they're also very vigorous, I'll say. I'll have to get in there in the spring and kind of thin them out a bit, or they'll take over everything. I also started some things here from seed. These are purple ruffles basil, and this is jewels of opar, and it's supposed to be edible, but I have yet to try it. There are these pretty little teeny pink flowers. I don't know if you can see any of them. They don't appear to be open at the moment. But then there are these little teeny, look like beads, and I guess that's why the name Jewels of Opar. There's a volunteer phlox there. My obelisk has its head back, so my dad came over and fixed that. It had been damaged when a tree that we were having removed fell on it. It had some rot, so Dad came over and fixed it. Back there is a Pearl Jam Beauty Berry, Pearl Glam, not Pearl Jam like the rock group. This is a aromatic aster which will bloom well into October. Really pretty lavender flowers the monarchs love. We have some Amsonia in there that will be turning gold. This is our 9-bark. And this little patch is looking kind of sad right now, but there's bee balm and daylilies and feverfew. And I cut the feverfew back, and it's trying to make some more blooms for us. Here I have some more jewels of opar and some more evening scented primrose and more of the mealy cup sage. The cosmos are taller than I am. Kind of a disappointment. I made the mistake of fertilizing them when I planted the little starts that I started from seed, and they put on a lot of green growth and not many flowers. Our cup plant bloomed and it's done. We moved it in May, so it didn't produce a lot of flowers. I will try to insert some footage from a prior year when it was in full bloom. The autumn joy sedum's getting ready to bloom. It's got its little broccoli heads on it. There we have some amaranth that's called velvet curtains, and in front of it is celosia. There's a swallowtail up there in that butterfly bush. Back there we have some chokeberry, which we'll be putting on some fall color. And then over here is another aromatic aster. Same will be the same lavender flowers. This corner is kind of sad. We had some deciduous holly. I can't remember the variety. And they've just, I think I had 4 of them, but they've just gradually died off. Not sure why. They've got a lot of this lichen growing on them. And I think possibly they just weren't getting enough sunlight. That one over there is kind of trying to hang in. It'd be good if I could figure out how to propagate them. Advanced gardening skills. More sedum, butterfly bush, and maybe you can pick out the pokeweed there. Those are Benary's giant zinnias. Carmine is the color. And some more celosia. I need to cut some of those zinnias so they keep blooming. We had a real hard rain yesterday, so it's kind of made this celosia sprawl out. I don't know what it is. We never get just nice, gentle rains. They always come down in a big dump and then beat things up. These cosmos are rubenza, and they did a lot better than the ones over in the other spot. They start out this darker color, and then they fade out to this color, which makes them interesting. Looks pretty with that celosia, I think. Oh, and there's a bee just sort of hanging out because it's not warmed up enough for the day. It's warm enough for me. Down in the 80s. It's actually better. It has been in the 90s. Hard to get anything done out here. And very little rain. It's like no rain through the month of June or July. I had to hand water any of the annuals that I wanted to keep alive. Here I have another aromatic aster. Another butterfly bush. and some sedum, and there's a lion. That is just totally not my... For one, I'm not a big garden statue person in the first place, but I certainly wouldn't pick out a lion, but he has a story. There's an elderly couple at our church that have downsized from their home out in the country with acreage to a home more in town that's smaller, and they asked my husband to take the lion, so there he is. We'll just kind of consider it garden humor at this point. It's kind of sad. He used to grow a big garden every year, and his health has deteriorated a lot, so not able to do that anymore. Over here is my shade garden, and we have mist flower. This is a native. And it looks a lot like ageratum, but it's not. And that is a lily of the valley that I moved over here. I started some coleus from seed this year for the first time. It was just called Rainbow Mix, and they've gotten very big. I need to cut them back. And they're starting to bloom, which means they want to set seed. And from what I hear, the hummingbirds like those. I don't know that I've noticed them over here, but there'll be more time for that in the fall. We'll let them bloom. Some more coleus. There's some lamium down here. Can't really see because of the coleus. That's in a broken pot. I could have placed these coleus better further back. I had no idea they would get this big. I wasn't very optimistic when I planted them, but next year I'll know better. That is an Everillo carex that's new this year. More coleus. I think when I cut them back, I will try to propagate them, maybe overwinter them. This one's my favorite. I love that pink center on the leaf. There's an epimedium in here being swallowed up by the coleus. It's also called barrenwort, which is a native. I have some heuchera in there. They're called blackberry. There's 3 of them. They are alive. I have a track record of killing heuchera. There's 3 of them. And there again, if I'd have known that the coleus were going to get that tall, I wouldn't have put them there in the front. And this is a Fothergilla shrub that we'll be putting some fall color on later on. The oak leaf hydrangea are maybe starting to put on their fall color. And I did a severe cutback on that viburnum. It got really overgrown and misshapen when the trees were here. But that is all I have to share today. Hope you have a good day.